Hello, this is Dale, and I'm joined by Mike. This is our Tuesday show. Hello, Mike.
Tuesday. Hi.
Thank you for those comments,
Yes.
Mike Jones.
I
I
know. Dale's wanting some formal. Hey, Dale, how you doing? Yes, it is Tuesday. That's right. Yes.
You're doing such a great job, Dale. I really want to thank you for everything. Oh, thank you for that unsolicited remark. Um, Look, I went to this meeting this morning of the Board of County Commissioners, and a hockey game broke out. No,
Mm.
and they decided that they had advertised they were going to do two things, and they only did one. Okay, that's better government, do less things. And what they had was a meeting of the Merlin North Valley sewer. They're the sewer boys, and one they put on different hats, and then suddenly they're the sewer boys out
Mm.
for Merlin. Now they've had several meetings where the background for this. Oh no, not the background. Dale, please don't tell us the background. Okay, just sit still. Okay, the background for this is when groups meet that are under the county's aegis, they're supposed to meet and then have something on their. They keep track of what they say because they represent the county. They keep minutes. They tell people about it, the fact that they're going to meet, and they're supposed to make under state law make a reasonable effort to contact you, and they're also usually supposed to make room for some kind of participation from the public. What do you know? It would be nice if they got some kind of feedback from the public in general. So they've met about this Cheryl's big project. This is Cheryl's biggest one, and this is putting new sewer lines into North Valley, into the Merlin area. And she said, we can't possibly do any more anything out there until we got all these new sewer lines. And there are a number of people who are out there going, well, that would be nice, but that's not exactly true. Oh, it doesn't matter. We're going to have this, okay? And we need to replace that whole intersection out there into a giant 16-leaf clover leaf or something like that. So because it's a failing intersection that's mostly been solved by one stop sign, but oh, we're going full speed ahead on this. So they've had several meetings, and I've asked, I said, by the way, what kind of meeting is this? Well, they don't know. You don't know what kind of meeting it is. Is it a workshop where no one from the public is allowed? They love that kind of thing. Or is it a general meeting of your service district? They don't know. We don't know, says Keithick. You don't know. And so at the end, I always say, will you be allowing, Mr. Chair, any comments from the public? No. I mean, not very nicely. Okay, partly because it's me, and partly because I'm representing you there, and partly because who wants to go to a meeting of a sewer district? I get it. I get it.
Right.
Right, right. So
I don't.
you figure nothing interesting is going to happen at this. Well, this is the first time that they've actually allowed people from the public to speak. Now, the last time that there was anybody else there but me, they had been personally invited by Keith Eck. And so I asked the question that you would love to ask probably is, you don't want to become known as the district, as the county organization only allows people to come here if they're personally invited, right? He didn't like that question very much. That's the kind of question you might expect from badcounty.com. I mean, when are you going to open it up? So this was opened up. So 3 people showed up. Nice. Okay. And they did have a couple of questions to ask.
Mm.
And so what had happened in this meeting is the county commissioners decided they've been tightening and tightening and tightening and deciding and deciding and deciding and voting and voting and voting on what they're going to do with this whole thing. And they say they're getting public input, but you don't see any public input because I'm the only one sitting there, and they won't allow me to ask even a question like, is this meeting over? Oh, yeah, that's a stupid question, or, paraphrasing. So in this one, it's very difficult to tell when the meeting is over because they just get up and start walking out the room, and I say, are you going to adjourn the meeting? Oh, yeah, okay. So it's parliamentary procedure, but who cares about such niceties like obeying the law? Not that. So one of the things that they decided is they're going to go ahead with all their plans, and they were going to pass something today saying, okay, this is the official plan. And Mike was right. I got official confirmation of the numbers that the new rates are going to be between 6.5 and 10 times higher than ever before.
Wow.
Yep, yep. It's official.
Well, I know somebody who lives right out in that area and does not currently have that as their sewer system, but potentially could because they're right next to North Valley Middle School or high school there. So, yeah, I think if I were living in that area, I would be concerned about this. I'm surprised that more people didn't have their ear to the ground on that one.
Well, they say that the new rates will vary anywhere from 17, I think it's 17 a month, to 317.
Wow.
Right. Nice, huh?
I'm
Okay.
I'm I'm assuming based on water usage.
Right, and also apparently at some point it's going to be based on the number of people sign up, but they know that they don't have very many people to sign up, but they need to come up with some kind of reasoning behind it, and so they say, oh, these are what the numbers are going to be, and it's going to be phased in over a period of, I think it's 3 years, okay? But they want to go ahead now. So here's what happened during this. They say, well, this is what we're going to do. Now, the people that showed up said, you know, we're really concerned about this. They're from the big companies out there, the big ones, not the little guys. And they said, we're really concerned about this. Look, the only thing that we're asking you is we're going to meet next week because we're revitalizing this group out here that's going to say what we think about all this. And before you go to the Infrastructure Finance Authority, you may remember this, when earlier Cheryl Walker, right here, she was telling the Infrastructure Finance Authority that the school district was fully on board. And as it turns out, no, they're not. And she said in the same meeting that she knew that they weren't. So why is she telling the Infrastructure Finance Authority, this is our Cheryl Walker here, that they're fully on board when they're not fully on board? They're not on board at all. Any guesses,
Okay.
anybody?
You know what? I mean, I still don't understand what the. I guess the school holds some of the cards here for this.
Well,
I don't. I personally don't understand the relationship. I don't understand. Do they are they the people who can say yay or nay on this thing,
all right, all
or
right. So a little bit
what
of
is it?
background. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of repetition for some people, but bear with us. So originally, this whole thing was going to be about Paradise Ranch, which is this resort destination where people are going to fly in on their private jets. Just the thought of this, flying into our depressed area on their private jets and play golf. And they were going to need a whole bunch of water, right? Water and sewer. And then it turned out, and we poured hundreds of thousands of your dollars into this private enterprise to make it work. And a number of us were saying, this sort of makes me think of this future thing that may come up one of these days. We didn't know the name of it, about manor development and this thing out at the airport, and something's not adding up here. Oh, you're just naysayers. You're always saying nay, and you're just wrong, and you're saying nay. Okay, but some of it doesn't add up. If they're doing so well, then why is it that the Rainbird water systems are repossessing all their showerhead things? I mean, some of this just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't add up. You're just being negative again, and why you're the worst person, and the guy that was in charge of it all says, yeah, you're just terrible and all this stuff. Well, we were just asking questions about, I'm hoping it'll work. Great, but really? Okay, for me personally, it was like, do we really want, this? Are we really sold on the idea that international jet setters are going to fly in here and play golf? And the same thing at the airport. Are we really sold on the idea that what we need is a bunch of drones flying over our county? And the same thing goes with the sheriff and his plan with Gerard Fitzgerald and Herb Carter. Do we really want to invest a bunch of money in listening devices planted around the county? I mean, yes, it could mean money, but is that what we want planted around the county? We want listening devices? You remember their answer to that. They're not listening devices. They're
Devices that listen.
That's right. That was their explanation. It sounds like Levy supporters. Well, we're actually, you don't know the dark numbers of people who aren't, it's 10%. No, it's half of 1%. Wait a minute. Get your story together here, you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
That's
So
a story for another time.
that's a story for another time. So it started off with the guys from Paradise Ranch. That turns out to be Parasites Ranch, and it never happened. Okay.
Right.
Then they said, oh, but we need it out there because, and we're going to need to reform that whole exit and everything because there's going to be a rest stop. There's going to be a state rest stop, and so we're going to need lots of water and soup. What? And then it turned out that evaporated. Okay.
Mm.
But now we're going to need it for the middle school out there. And it turned out that evaporated.
Sounds like somebody's friend is an engineering contractor.
It does sound like that, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh, but now we're going to need it for the high school out there. Oh, they're going to need it. Oh, they're fully on board. Why, Infrastructure Finance Authority, give us the money. The high school's fully on board.
Bada bing, bada boom. You have closed the loop. I get it.
All right, and now one more thing is we're going to need it also for the airport. We're going to have it for the airport, my friends.
Yeah, because I think there's 2 or 3 toilets out there at the airport.
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
it's just silly.
Cheryl's plan is that I'm not kidding you. We're going to water the runways.
Yes.
Well, we have grass runways. Is this the 1920s? Why are we watering runways?
Well, I mean, we haven't done it up to now, so the necessity cropping up anytime soon is probably pretty remote.
Okay, so now we've got to have this, or we won't have an industrial park out there unless we're pumping in all this stuff and pumping out all that stuff. It's impossible. It never can happen unless we do this. Okay? So these guys from the big companies out at the industrial park, they now sort of changed the name. Now it's all sitting around industrial park. Well, it has nothing to do with this, with the school district. What's the matter with you, Mr. Matthews? It's not the school district. Okay, well, I have a little sense of history. Maybe it's because of that. No, it's just about this. Get with the program. Okay, so they show up and they say, we're going to meet next week, and all that we ask you to do is please just postpone your vote on making this a done deal until we've had a chance to get together and talk about it. Seems like a reasonable request. These are the actual people who will be paying the bill in addition to us, of course. So we're going to pay up front, and then they're the ones that are supposed to pick up these bills that are going to be moving from 6.5 to 10 times larger, and we'd very much like to get a chance to get together and talk about this more in a group and then decide on our own what we want to do. Answer from the 2 commissioners that were there, not Keith Heck, but Cheryl Walker and Simon Hare, no. No, we need to do this right now. No, what we're asking, I even got a chance to ask a question, unbelievably. I said, now that you're getting feedback from them, and you need to tell the Infrastructure Finance Authority that they're fully on board. Remember the fully on board thing with the school district? This isn't about the school. Okay. Now that they're here, they actually showed up for this meeting. You invited them to come. They're giving you the feedback. Please don't do this until you've gotten feedback from us. That's important. So you're going to go to the IFA and tell them you've got all your feedback when they're saying, please wait? Yes, we need to do it now because we need the money. We need the money. We need the money before they've got the input from the users.
Yeah. Shocking.
So it seems like a good time to call the Infrastructure Finance Authority and counter what she's going to tell them. Everybody's fully on board. She's done it before. You're being so hard on him. She's done it before. Well, but she's not a liar. She's done it before. She did it in this. She said the school board was fully. She may still be doing it. We don't know what Cheryl Walker is telling Infrastructure Finance Authority. She said that she told them last time the school board was fully on board, and they weren't. So is she going to tell them, well, the users out there are? And here's the try to let me do a little of the talking, Mike.
Well, let me just tell you what's occurring to me right now.
Yes, please.
I'm wondering. Okay, money. They need the money. Is this money coming from some state grant or something like that? Is that what's going on here with this money? Okay, gotcha.
And they need the money before they know the people out there need the service.
Right. So I'm wondering at what portion of the cut is the commissioner's office going to commandeer?
Now, that I don't know, but I can tell you this. They have said, see, we have to piece this together because people that lie and cheat.
Perhaps the ISF supply
Uh,
applies.
People that sometimes lie and cheat, not all the time, sometimes. It's difficult. They're not going to usually come out, although they do it more often than you'd think, and say, "Oh, we're cheating on this, and we're happy to tell you." Okay, as Keith Heck yelled one time in a meeting 3 times, "We know we're breaking the law, and I don't care." Okay, so they have actually said, "Well, what we'll do is we'll get the money, and then we'll go back to the school districts and say, see, we've got the money," based partly on saying that they're on board, and so please get on board. They've said they were going to do that. So is this the same thing where they're going to get the money and then go to the people to say, we'd really like to meet before you make this plan and take this vote, and say, we've got the money. What choice do you have now, pal?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I get it.
Yep. So I got a chance to get up there. Now, I don't live out in Merlin, but I did get a chance to ask a question. Badcounty.com, identified myself that way. We are public advocates, and I said, they're telling you that they would like more time. Can you at least postpone this for about a week or 10 days so they can have their meeting and then give you the legitimate feedback? No, we're not going to wait for them. We're moving full speed ahead. How the heck are you doing that?
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming that they have the authority to do that. They have the authority to make decisions and move forward on stuff like this if they want to.
If the money is anywhere near what it needs to be for, like, the airport, which is also out in Merlin, I could say Grants Pass, but it's really Merlin. If it's anything like that, the state insists that you have a buy-in from the public. So there's two ways to get that buy-in. One is to tell them we're moving ahead without your buy-in, or the other one is to lie to the Infrastructure Finance Authority, or there's a third one. Do both. We're moving ahead without your input, and we're telling the Finance Authority that we have your input.
So when you say buy-in, are you referring to the high school?
No. They already don't have that. They already said that they did, and then they didn't. And I think that they found that it was impossible to keep that afloat since they obviously didn't. And there's possibility that someone at the school district could say, hey, wait a minute, no, we haven't. So they backed off of that lie. That was a lie.
Just for clarification, when one is referring to buy-in, regardless of who the buy-in party is, are you referring to that particular party injecting a certain outlay of cash to, like, a matching thing or something like this?
No, what they want them to do, what they want the resident companies at the industrial park, the North Valley Industrial Park, to do is to give them a solemn assurance. This is all they're asking for right now. This is all they're asking for, that they're going to go along with this plan. But they don't have that. And so they're going to go along with the plan anyway.
Well, I mean, sounds, this is government as usual. I don't, nothing to see here.
Hey, we want the money. Regardless of whether you want the service, we want the money.
Yeah, right. Okay, my previous comment still stands.
Some of this money goes to the administration, of the whole thing. Some of it does.
Yeah, I would assume.
Aren't they going to need that money?
Yeah. 10% ISF. Everybody needs an ISF. If you don't have an ISF, it's chaos.
I don't know if they're going to do 10%, but they're certain to do something because just think, I mean, all the brain power that went into this project, they're going to need to get some, they're going to need to get some toner and some paper and things, other kinds of things. Right. Well, it happened with Larry Graves now out at the airport, didn't it? He was saying, well, the next day, I think it was the next day or 2 days later, but it seems to me it was Wednesday followed by a Thursday, and he came in, and remember they said it wasn't going to cost us anything. He comes in and he says, we're really going to be just taxed out of existence in the amount of work that we need to do with helping Manor Development establish this drone operation at the airport, so my people are going to need a raise. Boom, boom, they got a raise. It is costing us money. Now
Yeah.
that Manor Development is doing nothing, are they going to return the money?
Yeah.
Why have they
Right.
been getting the money since all the way back then?
And what exactly are these people having to do?
There
I
you
mean,
go.
they work, probably full time or whatever.
Yeah.
As it is, what more is required? Oh, yeah, are you gonna have to work some overtime or something for this?
Sure, sure. Look, I'm a
I
maintenance
doubt
guy.
it
I'm
very
a maintenance
seriously.
guy working 9 to 5, and I'm repairing things, and I got a hammer out there. And now that Manor Develop is involved, why, I'm going to need 2 hammers.
Well, no, Manor Development has targeted being involved. They
Yeah.
they are not yet involved, and so I would think, yeah, sure, I mean, let's examine it and see if it's warranted, and then maybe we'll give you your raise once it starts becoming a factor, but not
No, no.
before.
This is Josephine County government. Raises come first,
Yeah, right.
followed by whether or not it's a good idea.
No, this is my problem. You know what? Government, even our government here, where we don't have any money, could not survive full on transparency. They just couldn't.
Well,
Because people see what's going on, all the little inner workings, and go, "Hey, wait a minute."
so where would you be, everybody, if we weren't there, listening to what they're saying and the little details? Just like they recently had a meeting where they were saying, the background of this is more background. Okay, you need it every once in a while. Sorry. The
No.
background of this is that they've been getting pilloried. They've been getting really in a lot of trouble for all of the new hires and the raises, even if it is within the magic budget. If you're holding on by your fingertips, when you lose somebody, you suck it up and you say, we can't afford to replace them. Or
Mhm.
when somebody says, I may move to another county because you're not paying me top dollar in comparison with, I don't know, Portland. And you say, you
Bye
know what?
bye.
We're sorry to, yeah, goodbye.
Yes.
Right. But
Don't let
no,
the door hit you.
but we're not having that. So they were getting a lot of feedback from people watching our show and watching the videos of them talking about giving people raises and, how can we be giving people raises? So they
Yeah.
made the agreement that they would no longer talk about that in public.
Yes. Well, and so I'm hoping that at some point here, we are going to find what nook or cranny they're going to bury this information in, and we're going to dig it up and announce it to people anyway. I'm assuming. Can we do that?
Well, that's our plan, and I have here. I went to this meeting, this boring meeting. I get it; it's about sewers. It's super boring. But the thing is, doesn't this fit in with all the rest of the things that we're seeing? Surely you see that. I mean, certainly you
Yeah.
must be seeing that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's an element of soft stinkiness. Yes, even in the sewer meeting.
Wow. Okay. I remember going out to one of their early meetings a couple of years ago, and the people out at the industrial park said, well, you just come out here, Dale Matthews, because you'll find that there's no smell at all to all this. Okay. So I went out there, and I said, you seriously are calling this no smell at all? Well, you get used to it.
Yes. Yeah. That's funny. And some air freshener company refers to that as nose blindness. They run these commercials on there, and talking about eradicating the smells that you have become nose blind to. It's pretty funny commercial.
Well, I do the best that I can, not only to sit through these boring meetings, but also not to develop Mike's nose blindness and be
Nose
able to tell
blindness.
you when we're seeing these. And it was
Not
such a
my
short.
nose blindness.
Okay. It was such a short little thing. Like, okay, so we just won't tell the public about it anymore. Okay, that sounds good. On to the next subject. Now, wait a minute. You want it. I can't do this because we're not allowed to speak. I'm especially not allowed to speak. Other people come to the meetings and they're allowed to speak, but not me. I can't ask any questions. But I wanted to say, now, wait a minute. Have you just decided that we don't get to see this anymore? Oh, it's much more efficient that way. I will submit to
Yeah.
you, everybody, that efficiency is the enemy of transparency.
Yes. Yes. Lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. You can't repeat it often enough, quite
Yes,
frankly.
it's from some Democratic
Yeah, no, it was
bad
from
guy.
what was his name? I forget his
Michael
name.
Savage.
No, no, no,
Rush
no,
Limbaugh.
no. This was the
I
guy.
know. I know.
For crying out loud, man! Don't drag the whole audience along. It's from the
Yeah.
guy, you know, the
It's from the guy
guy
you know. The guy you know.
responsible for the architecture of Obamacare. What the heck was his name? Jonathan. Come on, help
Jonathan
me out.
Obamacare. I know. Okay.
No, no.
They all know too. They've heard the quote before ad nauseum. Look,
Yes, and you don't remember, and you're just
I
trying to
don't.
get out of. Yeah, okay, there
That's
you
right.
go.
I don't remember the
Yes,
guy's
good.
name. I
Yeah,
don't. No, no, that's true.
admit it. Admit it.
I am
I
admitting
don't
it.
either, but you know what I'm saying.
I think everybody now knows what you're saying. Right. Okay. So the bottom line on all
Gruber,
this,
Gruber.
Rupert Murdoch. Yes. Right.
No,
So,
Gruber. Jonathan
Gruber. I
Gruber.
thought you were just babbling. Okay, Gruber. He does that every once in a while.
I
Everybody.
have to listen. If it comes back into my head, I have to spit it
Right.
out real fast.
He has to spit it out. It's like going to dinner with this guy, and then suddenly he starts yelling out, "Gruber!
No,
Nobody knows what he's talking about.
This is why they call it stream of consciousness. Because for me, here I am. I'm sitting here in my tranquil mind, and stuff is flowing by in the stream. And when I see the name Gruber, I have to grab it real quick, otherwise it goes away.
And when you're outside and a butterfly goes by, you can forget your conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
Run after the butterfly, yelling, "Gruber!"
Yeah, squirrel goes by. You know, I'm gone. I'm
Yeah,
like a Labrador.
Yes, right. So I went to this meeting not expecting that anything interesting would happen. And I knew that I'd be meeting with Mike this evening to talk about it, and I thought, surely I'll have nothing to say about this meeting.
What, you or me? I have something to say about it, and don't call me Shirley.